Firecall, the fire safety show with Division Chief Jim Sedaris.
My name is Division Chief Jim Sedaris, and you're watching Firecall. Every month we try and bring you new topics about Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, get you into the stations, meet some of the crews, and kind of see what's going on in the world of firefighting. This month it's just jam-packed. We have a really, really big show. It's going to be how can you be involved with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, how can you join Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, and how can you help your community be safer and a better place to live. So it's put down that stupid iPod, turn off your cell phone, grab some popcorn, and let's get right into it with our first question. This question comes from Gracie, and Gracie lives in Sioux Falls, and she wants to know, who buys the food for the firefighters? And that's a really good question, Gracie. Who buys it? Firefighters buy it. Every day they come to work, and most stations, like Station 6 out here, have a grocery store fairly close by in their territory, so they can scoot over, figure out what they're going to eat, buy the groceries, come back and cook them. In some stations, the crews cook together like they do here. Some guys have special diets, and they bring their own food. Now, every firefighter has to learn to cook sooner or later. And one of the easiest recipes that we teach all our firefighters to make is 2-2-2. What's 2-2-2? 2 pounds of ring bologna, diced, fried up, 2 pounds of elbow macaroni, whipped up, cook it up, get it nice and hot, and 2 pounds of cheese, preferably Velveeta. Mix the whole thing together, you can't go wrong. Feeds a crew of 4, or you can make 1-1-1 for a crew of 2 of you, or if you got a bigger crew, 3-3-3. Doesn't take a lot of rocket science to figure this out. Crews are always sitting around the table, eating together, and just like at home, there's a couple of rules. You complain, you cook. And the other thing I've learned is, the longer you wait to feed them, the better the food is. You could put an old boot in a crock pot. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it smells like a boot in a crock pot. By 6:30 at night, just like roast beef. So those are the tips about getting by in Sioux Falls Fire Rescue for cooking, and I think that's the way it is across the country. Maybe next time I'll give you another recipe. But let's get on to the rest of the show and answer some more questions. This is one of our most popular questions, and everyone wants to know about the Explorer program. So I got a bunch of questions to answer. First one comes from Nick in Sioux Falls, and Nick was at an accident and saw someone wearing a shirt that said Sioux Falls Fire Rescue Explorer, and he wants to know about the program and where they learn their training. And along with that question comes another one from Hendrik in Germany. And in Germany they have youth fire brigades. Well, we don't have them over here, but we have something even better called the Explorer program. And I'm going to have Captain Scott Gakey come in and talk to us about this program. Hi, Scott.
Hello, Jim.
Well, I got a bunch of questions on these Explorers. And the first ones were, what are these Explorers?
Jim, the Explorer program is part of, it's a Boy Scout of America, or BSA, program that helps youth try out different occupations to see if they would like them. And Sioux Falls Fire Rescue has an Explorer program, so they can come in and try it out and see if it fits what they're looking to do.
Okay, let me ask you some more questions while we're on that topic. This question's from Tyler in Sioux Falls, and Tyler wants to know how old you have to be an Explorer. What's the age range for these Explorers?
Tyler, to be an Explorer, you need to be 14 years old and have completed the 8th grade, and you can be an Explorer until your 21st birthday. While you're in high school, the only other thing we have is you need to maintain at least a C average. Otherwise, we feel it's probably taking too much of your time away from your studies.
And we want smart firefighters eventually.
We want smart firefighters.
And this question kind of leads into some of that. Craig from Zanesville, Ohio, wants to know about a 14-year-old son. He wants to be a firefighter someday, maybe a little overweight. How is that going to affect being in this program?
One thing to consider for firefighters is to say we don't all come one shape and size, but when we're in a fire, the extra heat and the air packs we carry and the gear, it all stresses the body. Well, if you're going in with your body overstressed, being a little overweight anyway, it's just going to be that much more stress on you. So, yeah, we like to have our firefighters fit. And
if he's looking to be a firefighter, now's the time to start, getting in shape and taking care of yourself. And
if a guy's looking for that as a goal, it's time to get working on it.
2 questions. This is from Michael in Sioux Falls, and also almost identical questions, but they're both from Sioux Falls people, so you just got to answer them. And Lacey, and they want to know exactly, you talk about the kind of how it was formed and why it was formed, but what do the Explorers actually do?
The Explorers that we have out here, we try to run them through basically like a recruit program, only when Sioux Falls Fire has a recruit program, 8 to 10 weeks is what we have them out here. The Explorers, since they can be out here for years, we start off with some academic work, and we start off through whether like knowing the organization, incident command system, their PPE or personal protective equipment like turnout gear and SCBA. And once we get through that, we can start running through some scenarios out on the field with hand lines and doing search and rescue.
Don't get too far, that's my next question.
Oh. But then we can start working them into the items where they'll be using this equipment. Okay.
Great, and that leads us into our next question from Patrick in Sioux Falls, and Patrick wants to know what do they do and what kind of equipment do they use? So are they actually go on air with the SCBAs, and do they actually have turnout gear?
They do. We just don't let them go into an IDLH or immediate danger to life and health atmosphere. But we have the turnout gear is gear that we have from our firefighters. It's used gear that we assign to them. We don't buy them new stuff because we're talking quite a bit of money for each set. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we have to kind of limit our numbers also.
And they're not going into dangerous areas that firefighters would be, so we don't have to necessarily worry about that.
We do smoke up an environment, so we have smoke machines, and it's the same smoke we would use for our firefighters if we went in to search a house.
Non-toxic smoke.
Non-toxic smoke. We do hand line advancements. We do search and rescue.
And about rappelling, that's how long did it take to get those guys from ground one to going online?
The group that we saw rappelling, they're in their third year of Explorers right now. We get through, I guess, working them through steps, and we're kind of starting into some of the more specialized areas so that they can see, well, for one, how they like to deal with heights. It's to show them that there's a lot of study involved. We'll be working on confined space and hazmat and items like that.
And in this job, just like being a firefighter, you're always learning, always in the books, and if you can't keep the C average in school, you know what, this might just be too much for you.
Yeah, because it's getting to be more and more certifications that a guy needs to carry.
This next question comes from Bobby, and Bobby wants to know, how do I get more information about the Explorer program?
For more information, the Boy Scout office has a division just for Explorers because there's different occupations that handle that. Or you can call Fire Headquarters at 367-8092.
Well, thanks a lot, Scott, and we really appreciate this program. It's a great program, and we're hoping to get some good firefighters out of it.
That'd be good.
Now we have two shout-outs, and the one shout-out goes to the Canton Township Fire Department Explorer Post 330 in North Canton, Ohio. This shout-out's going to you, Brett, out there. And another shout-out goes to Austin, and Austin has an Explorer Post in Delray Beach near Boca Raton, Florida. So, Austin, I hope you keep watching the show, and this shout-out goes to your Explorer group. I'm with Dane Anderson, and Dane's one of our fire explorers. Dane's father was a firefighter with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. Matter of fact, Station 4 is dedicated to him, and I fought some pretty good fire with your dad, and the hotter the fire, man, the better he got. It was Iron Mike, and he will live on forever in Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. But since you're on this Fire Explorer program, tell us what drove you to get into the program, Dane?
Well, since my father was a firefighter for Fire Rescue, I was interested in the fire service from a young age, and I was contacted by my school guidance counselor about the program, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to train and get some experience before I go off to college to train for it.
And you're actually riding on the truck today?
I am. I'm the fifth man on the truck today.
Oh, man. And you went on a call already, so it's kind of get a little bit of a rush?
Not a little bit of a rush. I mean, your first call is always a good rush, but I've been on lots of calls with Fire Rescue, so it's become more of a commonplace thing for me.
Now, what kind of things do you do as part of the Explorer program?
As part of the Explorer program, we get to train right alongside Fire Rescue, and we get to take advantage of the same training opportunities that you guys do. We take the same exact tests, work with the same equipment, and familiarize ourselves with the same apparatus. We've trained with USAR techniques, urban search and rescue. We've trained with EMS, did some hazardous materials familiarization, and basic firefighter training.
And how long have you been with the Explore program?
My class started in October of 2004.
Now, long-term plans, Dan, you're a smart kid. I know you. You can go just about anywhere you want to go. What are your plans, and what do you hope to do after you get out of high school?
Well, I'm a senior right now, so I'll be graduating in May, and then I'll be going off to, hopefully, Casper College in Casper, Wyoming, to study fire science, and that's a 2-year degree. That'll help me with my hiring process here in Sioux Falls, hopefully.
And then hanging out with the guys back, hopefully to be a firefighter with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue?
Absolutely.
All right, well, Dane, you got a great career here, and I really hope the best for you, and I can't wait to see how things go for you. Here's a quiz. It's time to be either a hero or a zero. The pop quiz question is, how old do you have to be to apply to be a firefighter? The answers are A, 18, B, 21, C, 25, or D, any age. This question comes from Rita in Sioux Falls, and Rita, the answer is B, 21. And to help answer some of these next questions, I'm going to have Fire Chief Rick Larson, Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, come in and help us answer some of these questions. Thanks for coming, Rick.
You're welcome, Jim, and I thank the viewers for watching the show today and your interest in Sioux Falls Fire Rescue.
Well, I got a lot of questions here. We did Rita's. The next question is from Drew, and Drew lives in Sioux Falls, and Drew has some issues about age. He's going to be 21 in September of 2007, and he wants to know when's the next deadline for application.
Well, Drew, we have applications opening up on February 11th, and it runs through March 2nd. The applications can be filed online. Unfortunately, the answer given before, you must be 21 years old to apply, so turning 21 in September of 2007 would mean that you'd have to wait for our next 2-year cycle, which would make you eligible to apply in early 2009.
Okay, so that answers your question, Drew. Hang in there. You're going to make it. This question comes from Baptiste, and he lives in Mission, South Dakota. Can you be a firefighter if you have diabetes?
Well, diabetes in itself does not exclude you from applying to be a firefighter. Every applicant has to complete a physical examination, and whether or not the diabetes caused you to or not to become eligible to be a firefighter, that's a determination that's made during the physical process.
And that's a pretty rigorous physical process, isn't it, Rick?
Yes, it is. We run through and make sure everybody's ready and in shape to be firefighters.
This next question comes from Roy, and Roy lives in Waddy, Kentucky. And he wants to know how long and how much does it cost to train our new firefighters?
Well, the cost to train our new firefighters is approximately $17,000 per firefighter. Each firefighter goes through an 8-week training academy that we host here, and through that they gain basic firefighter skills necessary to be a firefighter.
And normally, this isn't in there, but normally how many firefighters do we hire at a time for a cycle?
Well, we'll hire anywhere from averaging from 5 firefighters to 12 firefighters per class. The maximum class size is 12 firefighters.
So I guess it'd be a pretty good chunk of cash.
Yes.
To train all those guys and gals. This question comes from Eric, and Eric lives in Bismarck, North Dakota. And he wants to know, how long is a firefighter on probation?
Every newly hired firefighter is on probation for a period of 1 year.
And our last question comes from Heather in Ohio, and she wants to know the dreaded question, what is CPAT?
CPAT is the Candidate Physical Ability Test, and it's a nationally recognized test to test firefighters for strength. Again, it is a series of evolutions that are timed that you must complete and pass to maintain your eligibility to be a firefighter.
And every new recruit then to get hired goes through CPAT.
That is correct.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Rick, and you helped answer some of these tougher questions.
You're welcome, Jim, and good luck.
Thanks. Well, more questions about CERT. And this first question comes from Cody. Cody lives in Sioux Falls, and he wants to know, how do I find out more about the CERT program? CERT being Community Emergency Response Team. And I have Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder's an FAO. He's a driver. He's instrumental in our success of our program. We have a pretty big program. Dan, can you tell us a little about what CERT does?
Well, CERT is an emergency response organization created by some folks out in California after a number of earthquakes they had out there. The fire department had identified a number of conditions where citizens were trying to help out, taking care of themselves and others, and they were doing a few things that maybe endangered them some. So the fire department created this program teaching them how to be safe, taking care of themselves and their neighbors, how to do things, simple things like maybe turning off the gas or something like that in the case of a disaster where there was a fire, and do it safely so that the people weren't getting themselves into trouble and causing more load for the fire department, more people to take care of, because a lot of them got hurt doing some of the things they were trying to do.
Sure, I could see that happening with the tornado, earthquake, floods, that people want to help but just don't know exactly what to do.
Absolutely. And the program is designed around helping all the different kinds of disasters that can be out there. Anything from, as you said, the hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, thunderstorms, you name it. There are different classes that we teach. And of course, around this area of the country, a lot of our training surrounds the summer and winter storms, because those are the things that we have.
So how does Cody find more information about our CERT program?
You can go to the siouxfalls.org/fire, and there's a website on there. And once you click on that, you get to the fire page, and on the left side under highlights is a marker, the icon for CERT. And when you open that, then you will see a description of the program. And along the right side of that page, there is a number of different things. There's a PowerPoint presentation about CERT, along with the application and brochure and a number of different links to state and national programs that you can get a lot more information on it.
And CERT's under FEMA now, FEMA program?
Yes, it's FEMA along with the Department of Homeland Security. They run the whole CERT thing, and it's sanctioned by them. All the information we need for that is through the website and so on, so we can go in there and get all of the training materials and things that the people need to learn CERT and to help us here.
Okay, another question, as long as we're talking about CERT, this one comes from Matthew. Matthew lives in Sioux Falls, and he wants to know specifically, how does CERT work with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue?
Well, there's a number of ways that CERT helps Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. Sometimes during some routine things that we have, they'll come out and help us. Like, for instance, we have the Jazz Fest every summer.
Get about 30,000, 40,000 people at Jazz Fest.
It's a ton of people that come in, and that would be quite a tax on Sioux Falls Fire to be able to support this. So we have the CERT people that'll come out and help us do things like take care of very minor first aid problems, hand out water, maybe some crowd control. And then the other one that we do every year now annually is Lifelight. Mm-hmm. And that's the Christian Music Festival. And we've gotten in with those. They have, isn't it like a 50 to 75,000 people for that concert? It's really big. And so there's a lot of things that come with it. A few years ago, it was very hot out there, and they had quite a number of heat injuries. And we helped take care of those folks because there's just... Otherwise, everything is volunteer out there, and those people wouldn't get the care that they can with us being out there.
Now, how do you, if we need to use the CERT people, how do we get a hold of them?
There's a procedure through Fire Rescue that the people are paged through calling trees and stuff like that, and we can.
And they do carry their own pagers, some of them.
Yes, some of the leadership carries pagers, and then they identify the team members, and we will call them out to help.
Well, great, Dan, and you've been so instrumental that Sioux Falls Fire Rescue and CERT owes you a real debt of gratitude for all your work with CERT, so I really, really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Welcome back to the Institute of Technology. This is where firefighters are always learning. We're always back in that classroom, because in the fire ground, if you rest, you rust. And if you rust, you're not thinking. And if you're not thinking, people get hurt. So we're always teaching our firefighters what's going on. And we want to have good, solid thinkers on there. We want to raise that intellectual acuity quite a ways. Well, I'm going to have a question here from Greg, and Greg is from Watertown, South Dakota. And he wants to know, what is positive pressure ventilation, and how does it make firefighting easier? Well, that's a great question, but first we got to talk a little bit about what ventilation is. When we have a fire, we get a lot of smoke buildup. Well, smoke does a couple of things. It decreases our ability to work in those environments. Also, we have to worry about explosions, heat buildup, so we want to use ventilation. If we have a building, we've got a fire going on inside this building, we're going to have smoke building up in there. We're going to want to ventilate that, get that smoke and heat out of there. 3 different ways to do this. Basic fundamental stuff. We can do horizontal ventilation, which means if we have the fire isolated on one floor, we can use wind and blow the smoke out. Ventilate that way. Horizontal ventilation. We can use vertical ventilation. Vertical, up and down. We can take out part of the roof, get the smoke up this way, so we get that smoke venting up. Or, as Greg wants to know, positive pressure ventilation. What we do with positive pressure ventilation is we use fans and we blow air in, and as air blows in, it starts to make a positive pressure inside the building. Then what happens is you punch a window out, take out maybe a roof, and you can pressurize that building and literally blow that smoke out. But when you do this pressurized ventilation, you want to be thinking of a couple things. When you do positive pressure ventilation, we want to think, where do we want to blow the air into the building, and where do we want to vent it out? If we're looking at a building here on the inside, we have a lot of different rooms. What we can do is, if we can block off a quarter of rooms, shut the doors, we can blow this smoke out of a certain area. So we can blow the air in this way, use of a big fan, figure out where we want to go out at, our exit point, and then we can keep this air moving here so we don't flood this whole room or this whole building with smoke. We can isolate it, moves very fast. Matter of fact, if you ever want to do a little bit of an experiment with this, if you have a garage with a door in the back, open up your garage door all the way and then stand by that door. And you'll feel the air coming through, pressurizing your whole garage, and it'll be blowing out that door and you'll feel the breeze. Same concept. We put in so much air in here, we're putting tens of thousands of cubic feet of air into this building, and it positive pressures it out. Now, the nice thing about this is you can do this, clears the smoke out quickly, causes less damage to the building, which is important to the homeowner, the building owner, keeps it safe for firefighters because now we have an easy way of operating in these fires. So, we're going to figure this out. Where do we want the air to go in? Maybe we're going to be breaking out a window and venting out a window, kind of like the video. We can vent it out and look at how all that heat is blowing out that window, keeps that fire from moving, spreading through the building. We can confine it in one space by giving it a way to vent itself out. Keeps the heat down, and we're good to go. Makes it safer for everybody. So, Greg, hope that answers your question. Now, when we talk about positive pressure ventilation in the fire service, this is literally going to be a week-long course. You got it all crammed in to about 2 minutes. So I really appreciate your question. I hope that answers it at the time we have. And keep those questions coming in, because these are the kind of questions that you really kind of wrap your brain around and we get our firefighters thinking. And if they're thinking, they're doing things a lot better. So thanks a lot, Greg. Well, that was a wild look at how you can help Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, help your community. Got to really thank Chief Larson for taking time out of his busy schedule and getting those questions out of the way for us. And thanks to everybody else who helped us out, the explorers and all the fire personnel. Now, if you got a question, you can sure email it to us. And even if you have a shout out to your department, got a shout out right here from Mike in Novato, California. This goes out to the Novato Fire Protection District in California. So I hope you're watching. I hope you enjoy the show, Mike. And what you're going to get is official. Sioux Falls Fire Rescue Firecall t-shirt. Now, if you want a t-shirt just about extra large, about their size, throw in some hot water. If it doesn't fit, eat some more 222. And if you want one, you can hop on our website, podcast us, download us, fire off a question, and hopefully we'll get it answered. If it's a good one, no more trashy questions. I just want the good stuff. My name's Division Chief Jim Sedaris, and you've been watching Firecall.